Alright, hi guys, welcome back to PKFX YouTube trading channel. Today is Sunday and as usual the markets is closed and we'll be doing the weekly game plan. I've already shortlisted my preferred pair for the upcoming days over here. So I'll quickly walk through the higher time frames to do a top-down analysis on a weekly, daily and 4-hour basis to see what is the potential market movement that I'm expecting for a potential buy or a potential sell. All right, so very quickly, I would like to start off with USDJPY. So USDJPY, this pair, currently it has been trending towards the upside. In fact, it is technically at its highest point. If I zoom out, we can see that it is technically at its highest point. So my expectation, though it's not usual for me to buy at its highest point, but looking at the way it has been rallying is showing me that it's going to continue to rally towards the upside. Right now, this is the higher high, this is the higher low. So weekly is a buy. If I go to daily, daily is also technically a buy. So this point over here being the higher high, this being the higher low. So if I were to drag this particular line over here, you can see this is the higher high and this is the higher low. And I see some sort of daily resistance box that is forming over here with potential 3 touch points, 3 structure points that is indicating to me that I'm approaching this box which can act as a resistance. Regardless of that, even the 4-hour, technically this is the higher high, this is the higher low, so we are still trending towards the upside. Now my expectation is for the market to break this box, come back and retest and continue its trend towards the upside. This is what I am expecting. But I do understand that ideally we do not want to buy at a highest point, but I'm not really asking much from the market. I'm just asking a little bit of a move towards the upside. In fact, I do see this week another candle printing green. Obviously, we can have a very strong pullback. So if you're going to take this particular trade, we got to make sure that, yeah, we are following the trend, but make sure the stop loss is placed properly because you're buying at a higher point. That is USDJPY. I'm looking for a buy. Moving on to EUROJPY, which is pretty much the same as well. I'm looking for a potential buy. It has been a buy for weekly from here, this being the higher high and this point being the higher low. If I were to drag the weekly candles, the lines over here, we can clearly see if I zoom in, this was the higher high, this was the higher low, and ever since then the market is pretty much ranging. It has not broken above nor below. So I'm expecting a continuation trend towards the upside. If I look at daily, it did break slightly above my box over here, which I have drawn as a resistance, now turning into a support. My expectation is a continuation towards the upside. 4-hour as well is buy, this being the higher high, this being the higher low. So actually this is a good entry point because the EMA is coming in as a support as well. We have the round psychological number to act as a support as well. We have the box over here, resistance zone turning into a support zone as a support as well. So yeah, EURJPY as well. I'm looking for a potential buy, a candle, weekly candle to print out as a buy. Moving on to CADJPY, pretty much same structure. I'm expecting another move towards the upside. Once again, this is coming to its highest points, which is over here and over here. We can at any point of time have a very strong pullback, so that I understand that, like these red candles over here. We don't know when this sort of red candles is going to print. So if we're going to go saying that we're going to go and buy following the trend of the weekly, daily and 4-hour, understand that a pullback, a strong pullback indeed, can happen any point of time. Make sure that we have stop loss placed accordingly. Daily is a buy, this being the higher high, this being the higher low. 4-hour, this being the higher high, this being the higher low. If I set it over here, I see that the market on a 4-hour has actually broken above, right now coming back below. Now, based on my previous trades experience, I can say that this is not a significant break yet. Unless it actually rallies towards the upside and then have a strong pullback, then okay, fine. But in my experience, this sort of break, which is slightly above this box, when it pulls back, sometimes it tends to break towards the downside as well. So if we're going to say that we're going to trade as per the trend, I would say wait for a pullback, and then if you have a curvature towards the upside, then it would be a potential entry. Nevertheless, make sure that we definitely have a proper stop loss in place as well. So yeah, EURJPY buy, USDJPY buy, EURJPY buy, CADJPY buy. Basically, all the Japanese yen. I expect the Japanese yen to get weaker over time as usual, and just keep following the trend and continue the trend towards the upside. One of the reasons in why I'm looking for these trades is because when I did my lessons learned for the last 15 trades, I see the trade that actually gave me good results was this sort of trades that even though I'm buying at a high point, it continued to rally towards the upside. So the market, if it's showing me a good strong trend towards the upside, I don't want to wait for a significant pullback. I'd rather take a chance to bet that it's going to continue to go towards the upside. Okay, so having said that, that's CADJPY. Moving on to GBPAUD. Now, GBPAUD, I see that it has reached this point and created a doji indecision candle, and I see some sort of a curvature forming over here. And technically speaking, the weekly is a sell, this being the lower low and this being the lower high. So the market did not break below here, did not it rejected here, but did not rally to continue the trend towards the downside. So this is the final point that it has to break and continue to go towards the downside. Otherwise, I believe it's going to continue to rally to the upside, changing the weekly sell buyers into a weekly buy buyers. Now, another reason I think this may just hold is because I see 3 times it has wicked at this point. Like, let me zoom in. Like, I can see 3 times, 3 weeks, the candle has actually wicked over here, but never was able to close above here. In fact, it has only closed below this point, so I expect some sort of a strong push towards the downside. I also see the weekly EME coming down as well. Once again, this is just my expectation, but I am looking for a potential rollover following the weekly sell pattern. Daily, however, it turned into a sell, but eventually the last days it turns back into a buy. So daily is a buy, and if I look at the 4-hour candlestick as well, this was that strong buy, and market is technically just ranging over here. So not necessarily this is going to end up as a sell, because the daily and the 4-hour bias is still a buy, only weekly is a sell, right? So I want to make sure that I set a good stop loss here and have a potential risk to reward of 1 to 2 if I were to go for the sell for GBP AUD. But yeah, GBP AUD, once again, pro trend trade. I'm looking for a potential sell following the weekly sell, despite the fact that the daily and the 4-hour is a buy. Expecting a curvature here. Next, Euro AUD. Again, this is what I'm saying, right? So we can see that the Euro AUD pair, see how this curvature happened. I'm actually expecting something similar to play out over here. Not necessarily will happen, but that is what I'm expecting. I see that when I zoom out, this is what the market is doing. So I want to go with the flow. I want to also sell over here for Euro AUD. So again, Euro AUD, this is weekly is a sell, this being the lower low and this being the lower high. If I look at daily technically is a buy, higher high, higher low, and the market had a very strong pullback. I expect continuation towards the downside, so any sort of pullback, rejecting at this EMA, I want to sell towards the downside. 4-hour is technically a sell right now based on this particular rally over here. It had a decent amount of pullback, but the 4-hour EMA is also coming into the picture. Any sort of a strong pullback over here and then a push towards the downside, if I see the lower time frames shifting into a sell, I want to sell for this pair as well. Because if I zoom out and I look at the weekly trend, last 3 weeks has been a sell, right? And mainly this particular candle is like an evening star formation pattern, a beautiful curve over here, a rejecting candle over here, and now it's trailing towards the downside. So I want the market to continue to push towards the downside, right? I want it to continue to push towards the downside, and if I get an opportunity to enter for a sell, I'll go for a sell. That's Euro AUD. Now, moving on to the next pair, EURGBP. EURGBP, well, it is actually at its lowest point on a weekly. This is the lower low and this is the lower high. So again, I'm expecting a weekly sell, but understanding that it can at any point of time have a very strong pullback to come back to retest these structure points that it never did test, right? Maybe I'm asking too much from the market. I'm asking some sort of a retest up to this extent before pushing towards the downside, right? But this is what I've been saying ever since the market was here, and now the market is here. So now I'm expecting too much out of the market. Yes, at any point of time it can pull back, but I believe the odds of it continuing to just dump towards the downside, filling this particular weak candle, I believe that is more likely to happen. Hence, I'm aiming for a sell, mainly after this rejection candle, daily changing into a very strong sell once again. But it was already a sell all this while, but this candle kind of affirmed it, saying that, hey, I am indeed going this direction, right? So all this pullback, eventually I want to continue to sell. Daily is a sell, 4 hour is also a sell. All this I take it as a good strong pullback, but look at the amount of candle that this one particular candle engulfed, right? So this is a very strong engulfing candle. I believe it is showing the direction of the market. So any sort of a comeback and get rejected at this EMA, I may want to consider. Yeah, so that is EURGBP. Moving on to GBPCAD. Now, GBPCAD, if I go to the weekly, this particular candle, I see potential, not necessarily, but I see a potential shoulder hit and shoulder pattern that broke above the neckline and coming back to retest the neckline. Now, maybe this week it will continue to have another push towards the downside. I don't know. Maybe it can also have another push towards the upside. I don't know as well. I really don't know if it can actually print a very strong green candle immediately. So maybe it's too much for me to ask from the market. All I could say is this is my structure points, right? And this box that I have drawn has broken into a resistance, now turning into a support. So my expectation is to follow my game plan. If it's touching my support area and bouncing strongly like this, then most probably this line is going to hold. So any sort of a pushback, I want to continue to buy, because the weekly is a buy, the daily is a buy. This is the daily higher high, higher low. If I look back at the weekly, this is the weekly higher high, and this is the higher low. If I go to the 4 hour, this is the higher high and this is the higher low. So the market has shifted in all three time frames as a buy. I don't want to go opposite of the market. I want to just continue to buy. Any sort of pullback, bounce above, I want to buy, because I see a potential 1 to 2 risk to reward. Understanding that asking for the market to come down here weak and then go back up and print another green candle strongly like this may just be too much to ask. And if at all I enter this trade, maybe it's going to form one candle over here, and then the next candle it's going to print out, and then another candle to print out. So this may just end up being a 2 weeks kind of holding trade, or even a 3 weeks kind of holding trade. So I gotta really decide. Once again, I'm not planning to take all the trades. I'm probably going to go for the one that looks way obvious, that meets my confluences, rather than this trade. Therefore, it's not my top trades. I put it as one of my last trades over here. But if I get an opportunity, I would enter this trade. So yeah, GBPCAD is a buy for me. Again, this is also at a higher high point, like highest point over here. So I marked it as highest point, higher high, right? So I do not have a potential take profit area here. If at all this trade works out, it may just continue to rally towards the upside. So those are the pairs. And on top of that, I want to also look at gold. Now, gold, weekly, again, as usual, weekly is a buy. Sorry, weekly is a sell. This is the lower low, and it has been a sell for a very long time now. So this is the lower high. So weekly, this is a sell. But the interesting part which caught my attention now for gold is the daily bias, which has now turned into a sell. Now this, let me just adjust this accordingly. So this over here is the lower low, and this over here is the lower high, right? Let me just drag these lines so that it's very obvious. So daily is technically a sell right now. But what caught my attention is this formation of shoulder, head, and shoulder, right? Head and shoulders. This was the neckline that it broke and now came back to retest. So head and shoulders retesting the neckline pattern. My expectation is for it to probably buffer here 1 day or so, 2 days or so, but eventually to push towards the downside. So my expectation or my bias is towards the downside. If I go to the 4-hour, right now the 4-hour is a buy because it needs to come back over here. Any sort of a test at the 4-hour EMA and a rejection probably will lead the market to continue to dump towards the downside. Now I gotta also understand that every time the market came down here, it has been pushing towards the upside. It has been pushing towards the upside. It has been pushing towards the upside. So most probably it can also push towards the upside because it's trying to break the 4,000 round psychological number, which is a whole number, very, very strong number. It has not been successful previously, but again, I gotta follow my trading pattern. And if I'm seeing this kind of beautiful head, shoulder, and head retest neckline pattern, I gotta bet on it that it's gonna go to the downside. I understand that I can get wicked out. Ideally, we want to have a stop loss above this particular zone so that it makes sense, so that if it breaks this pattern, I'm probably completely wrong and the market is going to rally towards the upside. But unfortunately, I do not want to risk more than 1% per trade. So as per my current trade portfolio, this is the amount that I can trade. So this will be my stop loss placement, which will be inside the box. So I want to make sure that I get more confirmations that it is going towards downside before I enter this particular trade, because I'll be risking 1% for this trade. But if it does that, then I'll double down on this trade. So that is gold. Once again, my expectation is for a potential sell for gold, and my take profit, actually I marked over here this blue line. That will be my take profit area, which is around 3933, because if I were to zoom out and if I see over here, back in around 2025 November-ish, this is where the last structure point came into play, the daily structure points. So most probably if market were to dump towards the downside, this may be a point where it may come here and then have some sort of a reaction towards the upside. So therefore, that is my take profit region. And let's see if that plays out. So yeah, that is pretty much gold. I'm looking for a potential sell. So once again, USDJPY, if I go to the higher time frame, not asking too much, USDJPY I want to buy, EURJPY I want to buy as well, and CADJPY I want to buy, GBPAUD I want to sell, EURAUD I want to sell, EURGBP I want to sell, GBPCAD I want to buy, not sure if this is going to happen, and XAUUSD or gold I'm expecting to sell. So yeah guys, that's about it guys. That's the weekend game plan. Let's see if this trade plays out. Alright, thank you so much for your time guys, and have a good day. Take care.